with another video, and today I just wanted to show you guys another one of my Knex Carnival rides. This ride is called the Roll-o-Plane, and the real Roll-o-Plane was built by the Ireland Aircraft Company. And this ride is what I think just about anybody would consider a true classic. The Ireland Aircraft Company, they started their company back in the 1830s, and they started out in the aircraft industry, and later for some reason they transformed or moved over into building carnival rides, which is pretty cool. They built this ride, they built the Lupo-plane, the Rocco-plane, the Octopus, I think they built the Spider also, I'm not sure. But sadly, I believe in 1980 or sometime in the 1980s, they closed their business and they sold the rights of their rides to some other company, and I'm not sure if that company is even still in business anymore. But all over the United States, you can see, you can still see these Roll-o-Plane rides in operation, as well as other rides that the Ireland Aircraft Company made. But anyway, enough blabbering about the ride. I'm going to go ahead and show you how it sets up and operates. And since this one doesn't take too long to set up, I can probably show you how to fold it back down or rack it back down. So excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. If you guys have watched my other videos, you probably know that what I like to do first when I set up a ride is to take off the wheels of the trailer. And the reason I like to do that is because I like for the base of the ride to be sturdy and steady and not roll around while the ride's in motion. So I'm going to take the wheels off, just going to disconnect a gray connector here and then one back here, slide the wheels off, and then put my gray connectors back so they won't get lost. Same thing on this side. Just snap these connectors off, slide the wheels off, and then put my connectors back. Okay, got my 4 wheels here, and I'm gonna hang on to these, put them over here because I'm gonna use them for something else whenever I'm setting up the ride. But okay, as you can see in the back there, I've got 2 yellow rods and 2 orange connectors. I've got to disconnect those so that one, just unsnap, and they're gonna fold out a little bit like that. Excuse me. And in the front, I've got a red connector, well, 2 red connectors and 2 blue rods. Got to disconnect this one, disconnect this one. That one's trying to be okay. And now you can see the ride is ready to spin. But before it can spin, we've got to stand it up. So I'm going to show you how that works. Okay. Not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but at the bottom of this blue connector, there's a white rod. I just disconnect it, and the ride, the main boom of the ride slowly starts to lift like this. Okay, I'm gonna keep the camera focused back here to show you what I'm doing. As you can see right here on the back, there's a red connector. Well, first, down at the bottom, there's a white rod. I mean a blue rod that has to connect to a yellow connector. Over here on the other side is a piece that just flipped over there. I've got to take it off because to keep this thing standing like it's supposed to stand, I've got to connect it to this red rod right here. And down here at the base, there's a gray connector that I have to clip the blue rod onto. I think you could, I wasn't watching the camera, but hope you could see that. Now I'm just going to take these two things and fold them around that way. Like that. Okay. Now you can see it's ready to go, but it's not finished being set up yet quite yet. So show you what else I've got to do back here. These are decoration pieces. They just snap off those two connectors there. Just decoration pieces. What I have to do, you know, I told you I was going to use these wheels for something else. I'm going to use them for counterweights to make sure this ride doesn't tip over this way when it's in motion. I've already got 4 big wheels back here for weight to keep it from falling, but for extra security, I like to put these 2 wheels or these 4 wheels on the back like this. And put 2 more over here. Then I'm going to take this this one red rod, clip it onto the top of the orange connectors. That's just going to keep it from keep those from flopping over. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, these really serve no purpose, these parts right here. I just disconnected this from a yellow connector right here. They serve no purpose other than looks. One goes just for the looks of the ride. One goes on each side of the tower, or what I would call the tower. One here and one over here. Like that. As you can see, they don't even touch the floor. They just they're just for looks. As you can see so far, this is what we have for the Roll-o-Plane. Okay, next what I've got to do is take off the fencing. And the fencing just disconnects from a couple of orange connectors on each side of the trailer. Here's one part, and the other one is on the other side. Just disconnect from these 2 orange connectors, just like that. Put it here in the front with the rest of it. Okay. And now I'll show you guys the rest of it. Okay, 2 more pieces I forgot to take off, but you can see it from here. A gray rod disconnects from there. There's one on the other side too. Right here. I have to take it off. And they go at the base of the ride. One is going to go here. Not sure if you can see that, but I'll move the bottom cage out of the way so you can see. This one just connects right here, like that. And that's simply just part of the fencing and decoration for the front of the ride. Okay, next what I want to do is take these pieces of fence, and actually that one's upside down, and what I'm going to do with these, the purple connectors at an angle, connect one right there, excuse me, and connect another one right here. Well, you know what? I think I've got... Oh, no. I had the... It was right. I just had the yellow part of the at the bottom, at the top instead of the bottom. But there we go. That's just the fencing for the front of the ride. And now the last thing to do is to put on the decorations. Some roll-o-planes have this stuff, some don't. These would just be like decorations that are lit up. Now, I've heard this ride called several different things. I've heard it called the dive bomber. I've heard it called the hammer. I've heard it called the starburst. I've heard it called all kind of different weird names, but its real name from the Ireland Aircraft Company is the Roll-o-Plane. And I'll show you why they call it the Roll-o-Plane if I can get back here at an angle that's going to catch it. This ride, I do not have a motor on it or any type of hand crank or gear or anything like that. It simply free spins. But whenever the ride turns, I don't know if you notice, these cages twist whenever the ride is spinning. I think you can see that, yeah. Okay, just say the ride's at the bottom here. It's got enough room for a couple of people, a couple of adults to sit. 2 people to sit on this side and 2 people to sit on this side, sit in upright position. And as the boom starts to rotate, the cages rotate too. So when the people get to the top, they're not upside down; they're sitting back up straight. So it gives the I can understand why somebody would. Well, you didn't see that, but okay. Let's get it back down here to the bottom. Okay, 2 people here, 2 people here, sitting in upright position. Now when the ride rotates around, as you can see, it's going to spin. And once the ride gets to the top, the cages get to the top, the people that were sitting upright in the bottom are going to be still going to be sitting upright in the top because they roll. The cages roll. So I can understand why somebody would want to call this the dive bomber. As you can see, it's rotating again. I'll spin it some for you and see if I can catch it. I really need to add some power to this ride. Maybe a motor or something to keep it going, because when I spin it with my hands, it only wants to go a couple of rounds and then it wants to stop like that. But I'm not really a big fan of Knex motors, but that may be what I have to do with this ride. Let me give you another angle here. It's a pretty good angle. Okay, now I'm gonna get in front and spin it a few more times with my hand. As you can see, the cages are rolling. I guess that's where they got the name Roll-o-Plane. But I've ridden this ride several times at the county fair, and when you're riding it, when you go down from the top and spin and come, and you're just looking at the ground, it really does seem like a dive bomb. So I guess that would explain why some people call it the dive bomber. And some fairs call theirs the dive bomber, like at the sign and stuff like that. The marquee says dive bomber. But the trick to this ride, what makes it roll, is the series of orange connectors with little green rods and the white rods here at the end. It goes up the center of the ride on the outside, and it's offset, which has this cage lifted up and the one at the top lifted up. So as the ride rotates, since this part is offset, it's going to cause both of the cages to roll. It's a simple design, but it's really cool. Whoever came up with that idea was pretty smart. But that's the Roll-o-Plane. Okay, now I'm gonna rack it back down for you guys. This will be the first video I've done of a setup and a rack down, so kind of excited about that. First thing I'm gonna do is take up the fencing and decoration off of the front of the ride. So I'm just gonna take down the decorative light over here and over here. Disconnect the two purple connectors. Slide the fence out. Disconnect the fence like that. Disconnect these two rods. Got all my stuff here in the front. I'm gonna move to the trailer of the ride and start putting stuff where it belongs. Okay, this part of the fence is gonna hang right here on these two orange connectors, like that. Other side the same way, except this one has the yellow piece. That's what was confusing me earlier. I had it upside down. But it just goes over here on the other side. Just like that. Okay, now my two gray rods for the fence. One's gonna go here, and one is gonna go over here. Let's slide them all the way back. Okay, I'm gonna disconnect the red rod and let those come out so I can take my wheels back off. Put my orange connectors back where they're supposed to be. I'm gonna replace the red rod here. Put it back in its spot. Okay. Next, to lower the main boom, I'm going to, well, I forgot these two, they're supposed to be supports, but like I said, they're just for looks on this ride, or this model. Disconnect these two. I forgot that I have to take these off. One goes on this yellow connector and one goes on the other side, like that. Okay, and now I'm going to lower the boom on the ride. Make sure all my orange connectors are straight. Okay, I've got that disconnected. Just gonna lay it on the floor for now. If you look down here, I've got to disconnect a blue connector from a blue rod from a yellow connector and lay it over like that. Once that's done, the ride is ready to lay down. So I'm going to lay the ride down, and once the ride is down, I have to connect my white rod in the center of the trailer back to the blue connector in the middle, just like that. Okay, and as you can see, it still wants to spin, so to keep it from spinning, on the back I have to connect the orange connector here, orange connector there, and on this part down here I have to connect a red connector on both sides. Just like that. Now it's nice and sturdy and not wanting to go anywhere. Okay, now I've got to put my decorative lights back. So I'm gonna put those into place. One snaps right there, and the other one snaps on the other side on the same red connector, or the red connector on the opposite side in the same position like that. Okay, the last thing I need to rack is my rod that holds it up in the back, and it just slips in and clips right here in the front onto this little red connector like that. So there we have the Roll-o-Plane back in its laid down or racked position. Now I'm going to put my wheels back on. Now on a real Roll-o-Plane ride, they wouldn't take the wheels off the trailer, but this is a model, so I decided to take mine off. Just like that. Got my wheels back on, and as you can see now, just making sure my stuff is lined up here. As you can see, she's ready to go to the next location. She just rolls away. Alright guys, that's it for the Irely Roll-o-Plane model. Hope you enjoyed the video. stay tuned for some more videos. I've got some more rides I want to show you guys, how they set up and operate and stuff like that. So I'll be making those videos as soon as I can. Stay tuned. If you like the video, please subscribe and check out my other videos. And I'll keep more content coming as often as I can. So thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.